this is the getting started video for the Blink Blink Possibilities Kit. We want to use this video to quickly go over all of the goodies that come in the kit and get you off and running so you can start making right away. So the first thing I want to talk about is the coin cell battery. So you'll get a bunch of these in your kit, and you'll notice that each battery comes packed in an individual baggie. The reason that we do this is so that when the batteries are in the kit, they don't touch each other. If they're stacked on top of each other, they can start to generate a current and also start to generate heat. So make sure that when you pack your batteries back into your kit, that you put each one into an individual baggie just like this. Okay, so taking a look at the battery, you'll notice on the top of it there is a plus side. That means that this is the positive side of the battery. On the bottom side, the blank side, this is the negative side of the battery. This is what we call polarized, meaning that one side is positive and one side is negative. Okay, the next component I want to talk about is the LED. So if you take a look at your LED pack, we call this the party pack, comes with a bunch of different colors and sizes of LEDs. So I'm going to pull out a green LED, and I want to show you that each LED works the same way. They all have two metal legs, and one leg is longer than the other, just by a little bit. So the LED is also polarized, just like the battery. The longer leg of the LED is positive, and the shorter leg of the LED is negative. So if you match up the positive leg of the LED to the positive side of the battery, and the negative leg of the LED to the negative side of the battery, like this, and then squeeze them together, you will light up your LED, and it's going blink blink. So that is technically your first circuit. You are completing the circuit by connecting positive to positive and negative to negative. Alright, so the next component I want to show you is the battery holder. So you'll get a bag of these little rectangular shaped doodads. This is what is called a battery holder. The reason why this is so helpful is that it's a nice comfortable slot for the battery to slide into like this. And it has metal prongs on either side that are conductive. So this side of the battery holder with this little circular loop right here, this is the positive side of the battery holder, and this little prong right here is positive, and this side over here is the negative side. So again, if we go positive, I'm going to attach that just so it's touching the positive side of the battery holder, and I'm just going to bend it a little bit so it touches the negative side. Again, you'll see that we're lighting up the LED. So this battery holder is really great for embedding your power source into any of the circuits that you're making, whether it be a purse or a shirt or your shoe, whatever it may be. This is really helpful in terms of being able to embed the battery into your garment or your project. Okay, so the next component I want to show you is the alligator clips. You'll get a knot of alligator clips that look like this. They'll come in a bunch of different colors. So I'm going to untie these here. The alligator clips are really helpful for prototyping your circuit. And what I mean by that is before you finalize your circuit, whether that means sewing it or taping it down, it's really helpful to make sure that all your connections make sense. And you can test that the LED is going to light up before you put the permanent pieces into the circuit. So it's really good to always test out what you're going to make first using these alligator clips. So each alligator clip has two ends. It doesn't matter which end you use. And they have these they look like little alligator mouths. That's why they're called alligator clips. And you can just put pressure on the back here to open them up. So I'm going to use this black one. I'm going to clamp it to the negative metal tab that's on the battery holder. And on the other side of that one, I'm going to clamp it to the negative leg of the LED, which is the shorter leg. And then I'm going to take this other alligator clip, the red one, and I'm going to clamp it to the positive side of the battery holder. Again, I know this is the positive side of the battery holder because of that little circular tab. It has these little like 3 lines here, and the negative side is just flat. So this is going to be the positive side of the circuit. I'm going to connect this to the positive side of the LED, and this will be completing the circuit once they touch, and the light will go on. So here we go, and there we go. We are blinking. Okay, so this is a really simple prototype of a simple circuit using your battery holder, 2 alligator clips, and 1 LED. Okay, so now that we've made this simple circuit with alligator clips, I want to go over a couple of the other components in your possibilities kit. First I want to show you is the copper tape. So what I'm going to do is replace this positive side of the circuit with copper tape and show you that it works in a very similar way. So I'm going to take this alligator clip off, and I'm going to pull out my roll of copper tape. So when you first get your roll of copper tape, you'll see that there is white backing. So the copper tape works just like normal tape. One side isn't sticky and the other side is. So once you peel off this backing here, the white backing, which can be a little bit annoying, you kind of have to be patient with just get there with your fingernails and start to peel it off. And once you do that, you'll see that this back side is sticky, just like normal tape. So what I'm going to do is just pull off a strip. You can just rip it with your hands, like this. I'm going to set the roll to the side, and then use this strip of copper tape. So what I'm going to do first is tape down the LED with the copper tape. So I'm going to use the sticky side, flat down, cover the leg of the LED as best I can, but I only want it to touch the positive leg. And I'm going to make sure it's a nice solid connection. And then what I'm going to do is connect this to the positive side of the battery. So you'll see that when that copper tape touches that metal tab of the battery holder, that again, the circuit is completed and the light goes on. So I'm just going to rip off this copper tape, the extra, and press this really hard. And there we go. So right now what's happening is the black alligator clip is representing the negative side of the circuit, and this strip of copper tape is representing the positive side of the circuit. So what I want to do now is show you our next material, which is conductive thread. So in a baggie you will get a wrap of conductive thread that looks like this, as well as a needle. That you can use with the conductive thread to sew the conductive thread into your project. So I'm going to replace this alligator clip with the conductive thread. So the first thing I'm going to do is just cut off a strip of the thread. And we don't need a whole lot, so I'm just going to do a little bit. Okay, so now that I have this piece of conductive thread cut off, I'm going to first thread the needle with it. Okay, so I finally got my thread through the needle. It can definitely be a little bit of a pain, so just have a little bit of patience. I promise you'll eventually get it through. Okay, so I have the thread on the needle. I'm going to poke that through, you'll see that the tab right here, I'm going to put the needle through the tab and this piece of paper that it's on top of. Just like that. And then I'm going to come back up through the piece of paper right next to the tab. And then I'm going to tie a knot. So I'm going to take the thread off of the needle. And just do a simple knot here. So now with that knot tied, you'll see that the conductive thread is now connected to the negative side of the battery holder. And since my positive side of the circuit is still intact, when the conductive thread touches the negative leg of the LED, then the negative side of the circuit is now complete and our light blinks. Okay, so now you can see we have another example of a circuit. So using the copper tape on the positive side of the circuit and the conductive thread to complete the negative side of the circuit. Okay, so the next material I want to show you is conductive fabric. So conductive fabric looks like this. It is this beautiful copper color. And this fabric is actually made out of woven copper, and that's why it's conductive. So, just to give you an example of how this can work, what I'm going to do is, with the copper fabric, I'm just going to slide the negative leg of the LED right here. So the copper fabric is touching the negative side, the negative leg of the LED, and then with this conductive thread right here, I'm going to just place it on top of the conductive fabric, and again, that completes the circuit. So now I'm using copper tape for the positive side of the circuit, and my negative side of the circuit is being built with this copper fabric and the conductive thread that are connecting the negative leg of the LED to the negative side of the battery. So as you can see, you can really mix and match all of the materials in your possibilities kit to construct your creative circuit. Okay, now that we have this circuit made and I've shown you the conductive materials, there's a couple more things that I want to show you. Okay, so the next item I want to show you is Velostat. This stuff is so cool. So you'll get a sheet of Velostat. It's this black material, and it's resistive material, and you can use this to make pressure sensors. So I'm not going to show you in this video, but if you take a look below, there's a cram session that talks about Velostat and talks about how to build a pressure sensor. You'll also have instructions in your booklet that came with your possibility kit that will give you a step-by-step walkthrough of how to put together a pressure sensor using your Velostat. Alright, and last but definitely not least is the fairy wire. So, one last thing you'll get in your kit is this string of bling, which we like to call fairy wire. The fairy wire is a strip of LEDs all connected to each other, and on the end you'll see a battery holder. So, like we did before, I'm just going to slide the battery positive side up right into the battery holder, and you'll see when I do that, the fairy wire lights up. And now we have a string of LEDs that we can embed into any sort of project. You can sew it in, knit it in, or even just hot glue works sometimes as well. Alright, and that covers everything that comes inside your Blink Blink Possibilities kit. And please make sure you check out our series of cram session videos that will give you quick tips on how best to use each material, as well as look into our projects page that will show you how to build out finished projects with all of our Blink Blink creative circuit materials.